The amphitheater stretched across 3 kilometers of polished obsidian, its crystalline dome refracting the light of a dozen nearby stars. Representatives from 400 species filled the tiered seats, their forms ranging from gaseous clouds contained in shimmering fields to towering insectoids with chitinous armor that gleamed like wet copper. At the center of it all stood Bella Rodriguez, humanity's ambassador, her small frame dwarfed by the enormity of the Galactic Council chamber. "The human requests assistance," droned the overseer, a being of pure energy that pulsed with condescension. "Speak quickly. The council has more pressing matters." Bella straightened her uniform, ignoring the tremor in her hands. Behind her, projected in holographic detail, Earth burned. The Zelthor swarm had descended upon humanity's homeworld 3 cycles ago, and the planet's defenses were failing. Cities crumbled, billions evacuated to orbital stations that could barely contain them. Humanity needed help, and they needed it now. "Honorable council members," Bella began, her voice amplified across the vast chamber. "Earth formally requests military intervention under Article 7 of the Galactic Accord." The Zelthor. Laughter erupted from the Krathnian section, a wet, bubbling sound that made Bella's stomach turn. The Krathnians were slug-like beings, wealthy beyond measure, who controlled 3 star systems. "Military intervention?" one of them gurgled. "For a species barely 2 centuries into space travel? Humans cannot even generate a proper defensive shield." More laughter joined in. The avian delegates ruffled their iridescent feathers in what Bella had learned was their expression of mockery. Even the usually stoic lithoids seemed to radiate amusement, their rocky faces cracking into what might have been smiles. "Your species is primitive," the overseer stated flatly. "You have contributed nothing to galactic civilization. No technology, no art worth preserving. You wage war upon yourselves with alarming frequency. Why should the council expend resources on a world that cannot defend itself?" Bella felt heat rising in her chest. She had expected skepticism, perhaps reluctance, but not this casual dismissal of billions of lives. "We may be young, but we are part of this galaxy. The Accord states—" "The Accord," interrupted a Valkyrian admiral, its tentacles writhing with agitation, "was written for civilizations of merit. Humans are barely more advanced than the Krell, and we let them go extinct without intervention. It was efficient." The word hung in the air like poison. Efficient. That was what humanity's extinction would be to these beings. A footnote, a resource optimization. Bella opened her mouth to argue, to plead, to rage against the injustice, but a hand touched her shoulder. She turned to see Kanat, her military attaché and the only other human permitted in the chamber. His dark eyes held a strange calmness, and when he leaned close to whisper, his voice carried an edge she'd never heard before. "They've made their choice. Bella, now we make ours." He stepped forward, moving past her to address the council himself. Bella wanted to pull him back. He was breaching protocol, but something in his bearing stopped her. "You're right," Kenneth said, his voice cutting through the murmurs. "We are primitive. We barely understand quantum mechanics. Our ships are slow. Our weapons are crude." He paused, letting the silence build. "But you've made a critical error in your assessment of humanity." The overseer pulsed with irritation. "And what error is that, human? You assume that advancement is measured in technology." Kanat's smile was sharp as broken glass. "You've never had to fight for survival. Your species evolved on gentle worlds with abundant resources, minimal predators. You reached for the stars from a position of comfort." He activated his wrist display, and new projections replaced the images of Earth, battlefields throughout human history, materialized in horrifying detail. Verdun, Stalingrad, the Siege of Delhi, Hanoi. Humans, evolved as persistence hunters, Kanat continued. We chased prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. We survived ice ages, plagues, famines. We fought wars that killed millions and then rebuilt. You call us primitive, but we've spent 10,000 years perfecting one skill above all others. His eyes swept across the council. We know how to die hard. The Krathnian delegate burbled dismissively. Courage is meaningless against the Zelthor swarm. They will consume your world regardless. Perhaps, Kanat agreed. But 3 days ago, Earth Command initiated Protocol Omega. Bella's blood ran cold. She knew that designation. Every human did. It was the final option, the choice made when hope was lost. We've evacuated everyone we can. Kanat said quietly. 8 billion people are now scattered across the solar system in every ship, station, and habitat we possess. Earth itself remains with 1 billion volunteers, scientists, soldiers, civilians who refuse to leave. They're converting our entire world into a weapon. The projections changed again. Earth's surface was being systematically stripped. Nuclear reactors, antimatter containment facilities, experimental weapons, all being networked into a single system. The Zelthor want biomass, Kenneth continued. They'll land their full swarm to harvest what remains. When they do, we're going to detonate our own planet. He let that sink in. The explosion will be visible from 3 star systems. It will sterilize everything within 10 light hours, including the Zelthor swarm, including their staging grounds in the Kuiper Belt, including, he paused, their nascent hive in the Proxima system. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Species were shouting, translators struggling to keep pace. The Valkyrian admiral's tentacles had gone rigid. That hive threatens Valkyrian colonies, it hissed. Yes, Kanat said simply. We know. We also know the council has been monitoring it for 6 cycles, debating whether intervention was cost-effective. You were going to wait until it matured, then dedicate 3 fleets to eliminate it. He smiled again, that broken glass smile. We're going to solve your problem for you, for free. We're going to die, and we're going to take a threat to galactic civilization with us. Bella found her voice. But perhaps, she said softly, if the council were to provide assistance now, Protocol Omega could be cancelled. Those billion volunteers could be saved. Earth could be saved. And humanity would remember who stood with us when it mattered. The overseer pulsed rapidly, a sign of deep agitation. The council members were conferring frantically. Bella could see the calculations happening behind their eyes, hear it in their hurried communications. Humanity was offering them a gift, a solution to a problem that would have cost them dearly. But the price was watching a species commit planetary suicide unless they acted. How long? The overseer finally asked. 37 hours, Kenneth replied. Then Earth becomes a star. The vote took 6 minutes. Authorization for military intervention passed with unprecedented unanimity. As Bella and Kanat walked from the chamber, surrounded by the sudden flurry of mobilizing council forces, she grabbed his arm. Tell me the billion volunteer are real, Kanat finished. Every single one. They meant it when they stayed behind. He met her eyes. But so did we. We were always going to fight. The galaxy just needed to understand that humans don't ask for help because we're weak. We ask because we'd rather save our world than destroy it. But if the council had refused, Kanat's expression hardened. Then they would have learned what happens when you back humans into a corner. And the Zelthor would have learned that sometimes prey becomes predator. Above them, the first council warships were already accelerating toward Earth. Humanity had been mocked, dismissed, and nearly abandoned. But they had stood up, and the galaxy would never underestimate them again.